Okay. Hello and welcome to this conversations about the foundation, access to foundation. I'm Cass Thomas, certified facilitator, and
Jasmine, it's from Taiwan plus Australia. Okay, let me translate.
Okay.
大家今天来跟我们聊一下基础课，跟我们的资深认证导师 Cass Thomas 一起来聊一下基础课的内容和课程。
And did you say who you are?
Yes, I did.
Okay, Australia. Yes. And so we're global, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Yes. And that's something that the foundation invites, right? A sort of global awareness of who and what you are in the world.
全球基础课它是一个好像一个全世界在欢迎大家的一个课程，就好像不管你在世界的哪一个角落，都可以共同的进入这个课程。
Yes, the first day of the foundation, the first few hours are wow, all these different topics, and then there's a change that occurs, right?
Yes， 所以我们在第一天的时候，通常如果你是初训的同学，你会有很多 wow，然后慢慢的你就会开始开始有那种很棒的感觉。
Yeah. And how is change for you? It's not always comfortable, but it is what we've been asking for, isn't it? That's showing up maybe in a different way than we expected.
Yes， 通常在转变的过程，不见得是舒服的，每个人会不一样，所以我们在转变的过程当中，都会有一些不一样的经历。
And I don't know how many years you've been doing the foundation. I've been doing them for about 18 years, I think 7, yeah.
那么Cass 导师说他已经参与 Foundation 基础课的课程18年了，非常非常资深了。
Every time it's different.
Every time it's different. 每一次不一样。
Is it that way?
Yes, every time it's different. Even though you go in with the same facilitator, still very different.
Absolutely.
Yeah. 我们刚才聊说，每一次基础课都是非常不同的。就算你是跟同一个导师复训，你还是会得到非常不同的能量。
这个辣辣的。
Yes.
看好了没？
Hello, welcome. And you know what? The world is changing. When we're willing, we are changing. And so if we're willing to approach life, right, as a new day each time, then we notice that there's change.
那么现在世界正在改变，我们也在改变。如果你愿意去关注到、观察、觉察到这当中的改变，那会是怎么样？
Yeah, we talked about one of the tools that we will play with, but I just want to ask a question, right? Is there a change that you're looking for, everyone in your life that you're asking for in your life that maybe you haven't articulated?
OK， 所以呢，我们在基础的课当中会用到很多工具。那么现在想要提问大家，在你的生活当中，包括你自己或是你身边的任何人，你有没有想要改变什么的呢？
And it's maybe you're feeling bored, or you're feeling annoyed, or you're feeling resistant. How does desiring a change show up in your life, right?
那么这当中可能有人觉得现在好无聊，有人觉得很烦，有人觉得有很多的愤怒感。那么不管是什么样的感觉，就是看你现在想要做什么样的改变呢？
When I'm not comfortable now, thankfully, it's taken me a while, but now I ask, is there a change knocking on my door and I'm just not hearing it? Or is the change I've been asking for showing up in a different way than I expected? Love those.
那么 Cass 老师就说，当他觉得不舒服的时候，他说，当然他也花了一段时间去习惯提问。那么当他发现他不舒服的时候，会提问说：“诶，是有什么样的转变让我不舒服？还是有什么样的转变是我一直请求的，终于出现了，然后让我不舒服呢？”
Yes. And when someone annoys you, right? Or even if someone is actually inspires you, is that the invitation for you to access your consciousness, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, and know that you know.
那么，当某些人让你觉得很烦躁的时候，如果你愿意打开觉察，这就是你可以进入意识的时候。
I met this guy at the airport once years ago, maybe 8 years ago. And he was so annoying. And I was like, oh, come on, universe, please. Not this guy. Come on. I said, what's right about this? My flight was late. What's right about this? I'm not getting. And then I hear this guy talking in Italian with a really heavy American accent, like I do, right? And I was like, oh, come on, universe, please. This is not it. And he really was amazing.
那么老师说，在8年前，他在机场碰到一个意大利人，用美国口音讲非常多非常多，他听了很不舒服的话。那么老师当时就一直跟宇宙说 "Come on，宇宙，这不是我要的，这不是我要的。"
Yeah. Two months later, he came to Rome and he saved my life.
How?
I'll tell you if you want to
Okay.
see.
然后老师在当时8年前在机场，这个男的不是很吵嘛？老师一直说这不是我要，这不是我要的，然后请宇宙帮忙。然后同时，他也一直在这个很被干扰的过程中提问自己，在这当中有什么正确之处是我没有看见的？在这当中有什么正确之处是我没有承认的？然
Yeah.
后2个月之
He
后，
called. Go ahead.
这
Go
个
ahead.
2个月之后，这个男的出现了，还救了他的命。所以我就在问老师为什么？
Yeah. He called me. He was here with his wife and kids. They had to go see the graves of her parents. And he called me and he said, hey, I'm in Rome. And I said, oh, hi. And he said, oh my God, where are you? And he ran to see me because he noticed in the tone of my voice that I wasn't connected with me.
那么在2个月之后呢，这个男生就打给老师，然后他打给老师，因为他那时候刚好要去意大利探访他的父母的坟墓，那他跟老师联系一下，问老师在哪里。可是他从跟老师讲话的对话过程中，他听出来说：“哎，你在哪里？你的声音跟你没有连接在一起，你不像你自己。”
And I was working at a job where a woman was so mean, she was so unkind that it just made me feel really, you know?
看
Yeah.
老师当时是在工作的地方，然后当时有一位同事或是客人吧，就是让老师非常的不舒服，因为这个女的非常的凶，态度非常的不好。
He ran to the office, he ran up the stairs, he said, come outside. And in 5 minutes, he was American, but he was a Qigong master. And in 5 minutes, we did this expand your zone and connect with the earth and the universe in 5 minutes. And that's actually step 6 and 7 in my 7 steps book too. It's a little different, and he said, don't ever, ever let anyone do this to you again. I have to go back into my family. Bye.
好，那么这个所谓的让老师很讨厌、很烦的朋友，听到老师的声音不对，就马上冲到老师的办公室工作的地方，马上把老师叫出来。因为这个男的本身是气功老师，所以他就带着那个 Cass 导师在5分钟之内扩展出去，把空间打开，让他整个平静下来，并且告诉老师说 ：“Never, never 让任何人，绝对不要让任何人这样对待你。”然后他讲完了，当老师做完气功，他就拜拜走了。
And I began choosing different things. I left that job after another year, and I began honoring me, trusting me, being grateful for me, being vulnerable, and an allowance of me. I know those weren't the 5 elements of intimacy we were going to talk about, but that too, yeah.
那么老师在这件事之后就开始去做了改变，他离开了那一个让他不舒服的工作，开始去看到如何感恩自己，对自己不设防，荣耀自己，信任自己。
And the moment I chose that, that's when access showed up in my life.
然后当老师选择了这样做的时候，Access AC 这个课程这个系统出现了。
Yeah. And so what is it that is really taking you away from being you? And if you're willing to be you, you can and will change the world, like Dr. Dane says.
就像那个 Dr. Dan 讲的，就是当你愿意成为你的时候，没有什么事情是可以把你和你自己分离的。
Year or so later, I invited Gary and Dane for the first time in a non-English speaking country.
那么过了几年，在这个几年之后，他是主办方，邀请了 Dan 跟 Gary 来到意大利，就是没有人讲英文的国家来开课。
And this is May, the month of May. It was 15 years ago, their first time with translators and in Italy. They stayed in my house.
In your house.
Yeah. Yep. I have a bed and breakfast downstairs. Gary, Dane, Simone, they stayed here. Shannon O'Hara stayed next door at my neighbor's house. Yeah.
Amazing. 所以老师在15年前请 Dan、Gary、Shannon、Simone 他们一起来意大利开课，他们还住在老师家。
Yeah. So what is it that we can, the questions we can ask, and this is what the two of us wanted to talk about, the questions that we can ask that would open up different possibilities for us.
所以当我们愿意做提问的时候，就可以打开所有不同的可能性。
The foundation, right? And it's one of the sections in there that is, I mean, it's just a page, right? Or a couple of pages, but it's in the foundation, but every level of access talks about these tools that are in the foundation. It's the base. It's the foundation.
对，那么我们刚刚讲的提问，这个就是在基础课本里面的4个所谓的创造的元素，它就只是一页的内容，可是每一个元素都是你进入意识的基础。
Yeah. And what does the foundation mean?
基础课是什么？基础是什么？
What is the definition of the foundation? It's sort of sometimes the solid brick wall we're standing on, or platform we're standing on, that if we were willing to ask questions, right, open up possibilities, right, make choices, that would be a greater contribution. That foundation is not solid. It's actually in movement with the energy of change. Yeah.
那么所谓的基础是什么？它就好像我们人生，你就是站在一个很硬很硬的平台，水泥台上。那么当你认为这个平台是无法被动摇的时候，无法改变的时候 ，you ask question， 你提问，然后你打开了可能性 possibilities。然后呢，当然打开了可能性，你就要做 choice 选择。而当你有了选择，你就有了 creation contribution 贡献，然后就造成了所有的 creation。
Is choice scelta?
Choice 选择 yes.
Do you know that it's the same in Italian? Scelta. In
Scelta.
Italian, it's scelta. Scelta in Mandarin. Isn't that amazing?
Amazing. 老师说中文的选择在意大利文是 scelta， 很像我们中文的选择。
How cool is that? What else? What else? What else? Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing that I wanted to say, and I would love you to say something. I'll translate you into Mandarin if you want to. The thing do you want to say that?
然后老师说叫我来讲一下我基础课的分享经验，然后老师帮我翻译成中文。
Yeah, scelta. The lovely thing about this particular section is questions open up possibilities, and if you're willing to receive the energy of the possibilities that open up, that's the greatest contribution that you can be to the universe and to you.
所以在这个四个创造来源的这个小小的章节当中，就是当你愿意提问的时候，老师再讲一次，那你就打开了可能性。那当你打开了可能性，你愿意接收的时候，你也接收了贡献。那么当贡献出现的时候，你开始让所有的能量可以流动，不再是一个水泥般的平台。
And then you choose something, right, that is in line with you, and you become a contribution to the world because it's so much nicer to be online with people when they're actually choosing for them, you know?
当你愿意做选择的时候，你就跟你自己是非常临在的。而当你愿意跟你自己临在，你成为你自己的时候，同样的，你是这一份世界上的一份贡献和礼物。
Yeah, and it's quite easy to know. Truth, yes? Does it make you smile? Truth, no. See what works for you. Yeah.
这个讲起来很简单，选择嘛，可是好做吗？其实不是很容易。
Yeah. How is it for you, those four elements of creation?
For myself,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like you say, it's very easy to understand all these four elements. But when you're going to actually take action to do it, it's another story. Let me translate.
Okay.
老师问我说：“那么这四个元素对我来说怎么样？”我就是跟老师分享，这四个元素你从字面上去理解都非常的容易，可是当你要去做行动的时候，它真的不是那么简单，嘴巴说说而已。
Yeah. Exactly. When you need to do something, but sometimes it's not about doing. Action may not be required. It's just getting away out of a resistance and avoiding, right? Or defending. And that's why we added the POVADs, you know? Sometimes it's just about opening up that space where you feel more relaxed, you know? And then maybe you don't have to do anything.
嗯，好，那么老师这边给我们另外一个非常棒的观点，就是就算有时候你做了提问，你好像认为你要采取什么行动，可是其实很多时候提问是打开了那个你在逃避和捍卫什么的空间。当你愿意去看到观点的改变，你就会有一种啊放松，然后扩展的感觉。你反而其实也不需要做什么，而是去成为那个能量，让自己打开就可以了。
There is so many tools in this foundation. I mean, it's full on, right? It's full of all areas of life, right?
Exactly 那么在基础课这个课本当中，有好多好多的工具，它真的是你人生各式各样的疑难杂症，你都用得到。
Yeah, because we live here on planet Earth in the world, so things are going to show up in our lives. And it doesn't mean that, oh, all of life is going to be easy. No, but it can come to you with ease if you have tools that you can use no matter what shows up, you know?
我们都住在这个地球上，所以当然在人生的过程中会经历很多事情，不代表说人生中的所有事情都是简单的。可是如果你有工具，你又愿意选择去运用它，
And
那个是
sometimes you just take, go ahead, are you finished?
yes
Sometimes you
finish
just take this and like, oh my goodness, today I'm feeling this way. Let me open up a page randomly. Oh my goodness, ye who are
ding
beckoning.
dong exactly 就是我也会跟学生分享说，你如果上完了基础课，然后你可能在人生中碰到什么难题，你就把那个基础课本放在胸前，然后随便抽一页，然后你打开的时候，真的就是我当时需要的那个工具，很神奇的。
The next one, distractor implants, which I love them.
还有那个老师在翻到干扰植入物，老师也很爱这个主题。
Yeah, distractor implants are things that distract you from seeing what actually is in front of you.
干扰植入物就是要干扰你，不让你看到真正你可以做的选择是什么。
Yeah, and it's so great to, when you have something that's distracting you, to almost be grateful that you're aware that you're being distracted. And it's like, oh my goodness, if I stop being distracted, what am I going to be aware of?
如果你可以去知道说这个时候你发生的某件事情，你觉察到哦有干扰植入物，你会很兴奋的说：“哎呀，我抓到干扰植入物了。”那么我很好奇，在我已经知晓我在干扰植入物这当中有了觉察，那我可以创造什么？
Yes, and there's so many different ways that we can look at these tools from different perspectives, listening to free Zooms, right, like this, or reading a book, or really integrating the brilliance, the greatness of these tools in our life. You don't have to do access. Utilize the tools and you'll become them.
那么很棒的是，我们会有很多导师的分享课程、公益课程，然后你们也会有书去看，所以它是一个很轻松的去运用工具，让你的人生翻转的一个非常好的 access consciousness。然后你就不用好像一定要读书、背书做什么，它就是一个成为意识的能量。
Awesome. You're amazing. Yeah. So what is it? Does anyone have any questions for us? Yeah.
请问一下，大家有提问吗？可以自己讲话，或是写在聊天室。Let's have a look if anyone has a question. 不要不好意思哦，趁老师在的时候可以问。如果打字太慢，可以自己解除静音，自己说。Let's give them 1 minute. They might need to think what to ask. Asking questions is a big issue in Asia.
I'm muted. Okay, cool. I was, please mute everyone. I did, I muted myself. Yeah, and how much are we muting ourselves? Are we willing to speak up in life?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Claire, I love that. Wang, hi, everyone. Nice.
Yeah. So Eileen says she heard the story when you are sharing about you and the American Italian guy. She feel very touching.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank
Does that ever show up in your life? Somebody that are like, oh my goodness, not this person, please. What are you aware of?
老师就问大家说，你们有没有在人生当中也出现，就是某一个人让你觉得好烦哦，不要在我的生命当中出现。可是后来他却成为了你的贵人，所以你知晓什么呢？
Yeah, what are you aware of? And that's not the only time.
老师说，而且那不是第一次，而且不是唯一一个，还有很多个。
There was a guy in Paris who was, he saw me again, and he was making criticism about access.
哦，老师曾经在巴黎遇到一个男的，然后这个男的当时对 Access 有很多的不满，很多评判。
Yeah. Now I was having a meeting about 7 steps to flawless communication, and I was like, how can I have my barriers up when I'm talking about the 7 steps?
然后老师说，当时这个男的在评判Access 的时候，老师正在开7步沟通的会议。那7步沟通大家可能知道，就是都会教大家放下紧张。所以老师一边开会一边想说，这个男的好烦哦，可是我怎么能够在开7步沟通会议的同时，还竖起屏障？
The moment I pulled down my barriers, he started talking kindly and wanting to suggest people to do sessions with me. And I was traveling to Brazil, and he said, oh, I know people in Brazil that can, get people in your, classes. It was just amazing. I wanted to laugh, but I was like, no, I don't want to laugh because he'll think, why is she laughing at me? But just being aware. Yeah. Sorry, too much information all at once.
That's right.
Yeah.
所以老师说，当他马上提醒自己放下屏障的时候，这个男的态度转变了，从讲话很多的评判到非常的友善，而且甚至跟老师说想要老师帮他做个案，然后还跟老师说，如果你要去巴西开课，我在那里有认识的人可以介绍给你。
Yeah, and that's what Chiara said, vulnerability.
这就是我们说的
No barriers up.
没有屏障，
Allowance. Interesting point of view. He has that point of view.
允许还有有趣的观点。
Yeah. Yeah. So what is it that you're resisting in your life? Or who is it that you're resisting in your life that the universe is actually knocking on your door, trying to get you to see a different aspect of you?
所以在你的人生当中，有什么人或什么事是你一直在抗拒的，而其实是宇宙派他来一直敲你的门，要让你看到不同的面相。
I love your translation. It's so awesome. I just want to keep talking, so you have to. Somebody put something in the chat.
Yeah, can you talk about foundation create relationship and money? Let me translate.
Okay. You
有
can
一
just
个
read it.
Claire 提问说，可不可以请老师谈一下基础课关于创造关系与创造与金钱的关系？
Absolutely. There's so many different sections of the foundation that talk about relationship.
在基础课中有好多好多的主题，我们会讲到跟关系有关的，
And also about money.
还有金钱。
And it talks about both of those topics from a really, I don't want to say concrete perspective, but a really realistic perspective, and then in this reality, and then how you can approach relationships and money in a different way.
那么在基础课就会教导大家如何从你对金钱和关系非常固化的观点。
And here's just a question for the money that's in the manual that I always love, right?
Yep.
What is it that I can choose today that will create more money right away?
那么老师在基础课本当中最爱关于金钱的一句话就是今天我可以选择什么让我可以马上创造金钱。
And like we were talking about the question, that's a question, that opens up more possibilities for you to choose from that will be a contribution to you and your money flow.
这就是我们刚刚讲到的嘛，你做提问，然后打开了很多的选择性，然后你做选择，就有对你来了源源不绝的金钱的贡献。
And that is opening up more space. And then there's a very practical, pragmatic way of increasing your money flows and income by creating these 5 elements in your life. And those 5 elements are quite easy. They're also in the book, in the Access book, Money Isn't the Problem, You Are.
那么这就是我们讲到了，在基础课本当中，除了刚刚的这些除障句，还有非常多实用的关于金钱的工具，包括亲密五元素，可以让你跟金钱有更好的连接。
And I love sharing examples. I mean, in my life, how things have shown up, and the choices I've made that didn't seem like a good choice. However, had I not made them, it wouldn't have created more.
那么老师说他在生命当中当然也是会做到一些选择，会让他觉得我是不是选错了，可是他说最后他都知道这每一个选择都为他创造了不同的面向。
And I did a Zoom about obesity the other last week, and talking about relationships. How do we consider ourselves, right? That makes us ignore the relationships that are actually a contribution to us.
那么老师上周开了一堂课，就是关于肥胖的课程，就讲到说，当我们在一段关系当中，我们对自己的关系还有对方的关系是怎么样去创造和连接的。
Yeah, I was just in Vienna, and at the in the hotel, in the Hilton Hotel, there was a guy sitting at the bar, and he was walking with, his legs weren't very good. He had a little doggy, so American guy. So immediately you wouldn't be like, oh my goodness, what contribution can he be? But I got the instinct, and I talked to him. I gave him my 2 books. He is a multimillionaire.
Right. Yeah.
He's a multimillionaire.
Wow.
And he makes, what does he make? Cement.
Nice.
Everything is made of cement. And took us out to dinner, an amazing dinner at the most exclusive restaurant there in Vienna. But what is the initial reaction you have to someone, that if you're willing to actually park and pod all the emotional and literal povads, will open up possibilities you'd never even imagined.
那么老师刚分享一个很美的故事，就是他在维也纳的时候，他在那个酒吧要喝酒，然后他就碰到一个男的，就是看起来就是行动不便的，然后又很不舒服的样子。那老师那时候就提问，我可以成为一份什么样的贡献？他就主动跟这个男的交谈，结果发现这个男的居然是亿万富翁。
Yeah, so that was just 2 days ago, and I'll keep you posted about what shows up from that.
老师说这是2天前的事而已，然后老
Yeah.
师还送了书给这个男的，然后这个男的带老师去吃很多很棒的高级餐厅。
Yeah, and relationships, everything is about communication.
在我们的关系当中，所有的关系都是包含沟通。
Yeah, and so if you would like some more, awareness and clarity about relationships, I definitely have a lot of tools to share with you.
所以如果你们想要对关系有更多的觉察跟工具运用，基础课绝对会讲到。
I've only been married 23 years for now, but
老师说他只结婚23年。
every 10 seconds is an access tool. Choosing it every 10 seconds makes it just like yesterday. I can't even imagine 23. I mean, I'm only 25, so I don't know how I could be married 23 years. You know what I mean?
老师说他开玩笑，他说现在25岁，然后结婚23年，然后这23年来都活在10秒地震，每天都很感恩对方，感恩自己。
Yeah, so it's really great, the tools. It's a lot. This is why this is my first time choosing to do a foundation over 6 days. I don't know if you've ever done that, but just 4 hours a day, so that people can actually have the time and space and what? Assimilated, right? Assimilate. Yeah.
那老师说这一次的课程是他18年来第一次，就是线上每天4个小时，分6天上课，让大家比较有更多的时间去消化、融化这个基础课程。
Yes, and we have a lovely ESC with Dr. Dane during the foundation. We get to listen to that, relax our bodies, and then also do some body work on ourselves, or if we're with somebody. So it's really lovely. It's great. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. 老师在基础课中，我们在做身体程序的时候，他也会放Dr. Dan 的 ESC， 让大家一起去沉浸在这个 ESC 当中。
Yeah, yeah. Is there another question there, darling?
I think there are quite a few. So, would you like to go through them or choose one?
Well, okay. 1, 2,
2, 3,
4. Looks like 5, but two looks good.
2? Okay.
The second one, yeah. Do you want me to repost it?
I can see that. It's okay. Let me translate. She would like to ask. Everything looks good to her, but she knows inside it's empty. So how can she change this? Let me translate. 就是她想请问老师，我各方面看起来都不错，但心里常常是空虚的，我该怎么样打破现状？
Right. Well, 2 things, right? The first one is these creating energy flows, and I'm a master at the energy flows. It's definitely. It's it's also the access energy flows is step 5 in the 7 steps book too. Yeah, that's the first thing.
Okay. 第一步，老师说2个方法。第一步就是创造能量流。那么老师说他是能量流大师。那这个能量流怎么做，也在他的7步沟通的书当中，基础课也有。
Yeah, because a lot of times and please acknowledge if you are able to see the beauty that maybe other people or other buildings or other things are not able to see in themselves. What is the gift that you can be to them, to you, and to the world by flowing that energy?
如果你可以看到一个建筑、一个人或一些事情的美丽，是别人看不到的。
And unfortunately, Access says when you do a foundation or any Access classes, you perceive more.
Oh, in a good way or bad way?
You just perceive more.
好，老师说，在你上基础课的过程中，很不幸的哈，很不幸 ，unfortunately，很不幸的，你会感知到更多更多，有好有坏。
Yeah. And if we do not actually have a point of view about it, if it's just an interesting point of view, then we can be the change that perhaps it's asking for. Because if it weren't a possibility for us to be the change, you wouldn't see it.
如果我们在这个改变跟感知，不管是好与坏的过程当中，一切都是有趣的观点，那么你可以在这当中感受到更多与众不同、与之前不同的能
And
量，
that's a great capacity. So please acknowledge you.
而且这是一个你很强大的潜能，请你承认它。
Yeah. I hope that's helpful.
希望有帮到你。
Yeah.
You say 2 ways. The first one is energy
The first
flow.
one is going with the energy flows. The second one is acknowledging that you have the capacity to see actually what people are, but maybe not what they're choosing.
OK，
So,
好
and what they're choosing is who they are at that moment,
allowance,
who they're
right?
being at that moment. But and I have that same thing. I see the truth of people, but what they're choosing is sometimes zero and empty.
OK，I see。所以老师就是刚刚讲第一个给你的建议就是能量流，第二个就是请你承认你有办法看到别人没有办法看到他们自己身上或是他们在做的选择，允许
Go ahead.
那也允许别人去选择他的实相。
Yeah. And acknowledging, right, that when people are on empty, they're not choosing more consciousness. They're actually resisting or avoiding, right, the consciousness they have, the consciousness that's available. So you can either be an invitation for it, or you can choose someone else and ask the question, truth, can I be a contribution here?
那么，当有些人他可能会觉得内心很空虚的时候，你就会看到他们并没有要选择意识，所以他们会逃避、防卫，在某些观点上让自己不去选择意识。在这当中，请你做提问：我可以成为一份什么样的创造或是邀请？
Yeah. And what are you aware of?
你觉察什么？
What are you aware of? Yeah. Is that helpful? Who was
有
that
帮
that
助
asked
吗
that?
Doesn't have a name, it just says I.
I.
Does this help iPhone or iPhone? Does this help iPhone? All right, let's look at the second question. Is there any ways to make your awareness more clear and stronger? Because she has been doing the foundation classes, but she still don't feel there is awareness open up to help her in
Right.
this
So,
area.
so is there something or some, you want to say it in Mandarin?
Let me just say, yeah. 就是有同学提问有什么方法可以让觉察力更清晰？因为已经上过基础课了，每天也有清理除障，但是没有明显的感觉空间扩展。
Yeah. So first of all, is that true? Are you
好，
aware?
真相，这是真的吗？然后你觉察到什么？
Truth, yes.
那请你回答 yes,
Truth,
no.
no.
真相 yes, 真相 no.
And what have you identified as awareness that is actually perhaps much more simple than you had defined it as?
你把觉察定义为什么？而其实它是比你定义当中更简单、更轻松。
Yeah. And just another question is there something or someone that is distracting you from seeing beyond the veil?
好，那另外一个你可以做提问是：有没有什么人或什么事，让你有一层纱雾挡在你的面前，让你没有办法看到超越这个纱雾中的实相？
I would just suggest, and I've been doing that, and we can do that together. What is the point of view that you're avoiding or defending that doesn't allow you to access the awareness you know is waiting for you?
那么老师给你的提问句就是你在逃避和防卫什么，让你没有办法进入你原本就可以拥有的觉察力。
I'm sure that's not just you, for you. Everything
这不是对你每一个人都可以做，这句每个人都可以。
everything that is right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, short boys, full beds, and beyond. Woo! Thank you. What a gift. What a
谢谢你的
gift you are.
谢谢你的礼物。
Are you willing to see the awareness that you be?
你是否愿意看到你就是那个觉察的力量呢？
And also the other thing, sometimes people think space is empty. But space isn't empty. Space is full. It may not be visible. It may not be tangible, smellable, tasteable. You know, you may not
Yeah.
hear it, but the sounds of silence and the fullness of space is beyond.
那么我们很多人会认为说空间是什么都没有，是空的。可是其实空间是满满的，你可能摸不到、看不到、听不到，可是它是充满着整个能量在这个分子分解当中的。
Such a kindness you are. Yeah.
Piece of space.
The piece of space. Yeah. Would you like to add something?
No, it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
She said thank you so much. Very helpful.
Yeah. And every 10 seconds, it's so much easier to be contracted than it is to be space. And time is just nonlinear. So please, every 10 seconds, choose again. Could be the same thing for 23 years.
那么在我们的基础课有一个工具就是10秒地震。老师说我们会很容易就被紧缩，或是回到这个实相，请你们提醒自己，每个10秒都要做个选择，你都是有选择的。虽然他选择了同一个人23年。
Yeah, cool. These tools are amazing, and each time you engage with them, I'm telling you, each time I'm reading the foundation manual, because I love to read it and then share lots of examples, right? Something new shows up. It's amazing.
那老师说，就是每一次他看基础课的讲义，每一次看，虽然已经看这么多年了，都还会有很多很多不同的东西在展现出来。
Yeah, and so much change has gone on with Access in this last month.
上个月我们 Access 做了很多改变。
Yeah, the CF training in Rome. Gary Douglas just turned 80 years old. Yeah. And it's just amazing. He was just here. I just saw him a couple of weeks ago. And this new clearing statement, it's never changed before. So now is the space and the time for the change.
那么老师说，上个月就是刚好Gary 他们在罗马，老师也跟他们在一起，是 Gary 的80岁生日，就开了认证导师训课程。那么这一年的除障句是这几十年来从来没有改变过的。
So let's do a little 1, 2, 3. All of the POVADs that do not allow us to perceive, know, be, and receive the consciousness we are and be.
好，我们来做一下1、2、3，就是所有不允许我们，所有的 POVADs 不允许我们能够感知、知晓、成为、接收的。
Oh, let's destroy and uncreate all of those
通通摧毁，并不再创造。
that are willing to go now.
好，让他们离开。
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, short boys, POVADs, and beyonds. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And let's do a 1, 2, 3, 4 to open the doors to the future possibilities.
1、2、3、4，打开未来的大
1.
门。1、2、3、4。
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Shishe.
大家。
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Maybe I'd love to. We'll hook up again sometime soon. and
我
play.
们会再跟大
Thank
家，
you. Thank you everyone for being on.
谢谢大家来参加今天的 Zoom。老师
Okay.
的基础课是 the 30th of May till the 4th of June.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
From in Beijing time, 8 p.m. to midnight.
Yep, 8 p.m. to midnight. 晚上8点到晚上12点，5月30号到6月4号，欢迎大家选择参加。
Okay.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Kat.
Bye, darling. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Okay.
谢谢大家，
Grazie.
拜拜。
Merci,
Grazie.
shishite. Arigato.
아리가또. 감사합니다.
Grazie, Nika. Ciao, Bella.
Ciao, Bella.
Ciao, Bella. Ciao, everyone.